Forgiveness is difficult, even when someone says, "I'm sorry." So how do you forgive someone who never did? Someone who doesn't feel guilty? Someone who doesn't think they were wrong? Why would you even try? Why release someone who never acknowledged your pain? Some wounds hurt less when the person who caused them admits what they did. When they say, "I'm sorry," but the deepest wounds are left by people who never apologize. People who move on, people who deny, people who never look back. And yet, the pain stays. Not with them, with you. Forgiveness is not for them. It never was. It's for the body that keeps holding the wound. It's for the nervous system that never received closure. It's for the part of you that stayed frozen in the moment you were hurt. Psychology and neuroscience agree on one thing. Unprocessed resentment doesn't disappear. It stays active in the nervous system. The brain treats unresolved emotional pain as an ongoing threat. So the stress response stays on. Your body does not understand that the event is over. It only understands that the signal is still active. Trauma researcher Bessel van der Kolk wrote a simple but devastating sentence. The body keeps the score. When resentment lives inside you, cortisol remains elevated. Inflammation increases. Muscles stay tense. Sleep becomes shallow. Digestion suffers. Your body prepares for a danger that already happened. This is how emotional wounds become physical symptoms, not because you are weak, but because your nervous system never received safety. Psychosomatic medicine shows that suppressed emotions do not stay psychological. They move into the body. Not as punishment, as pressure. The body tries to release what the mind refuses to process. Resentment becomes posture. It becomes tone of voice. It becomes the way you react to small things. It becomes who you are without you realizing it. There is another quiet reason we struggle to forgive. We are waiting for justice. We imagine a future moment where they realize what they did, where they regret it, where they suffer, where balance is restored. But what if that moment never comes? Are you willing to carry the wound for a lifetime, waiting for someone else's awareness? Sometimes the hardest truth is this: you may never receive the apology you deserved. And freedom begins when you stop demanding it. Forgiveness says, "I will not postpone my peace until someone else evolves." Forgiveness doesn't rewrite the past. It signals safety to the nervous system. When the brain realizes the threat is no longer active, the stress response can shut down. This is not metaphysics. This is physiology. But here is the uncomfortable part. Sometimes we don't forgive not because we can't, but because resentment feels like control. If I stay angry, I stay connected. If I stay resentful, I don't have to grieve. Forgiveness requires something harder than anger. It requires letting go of the version of the past where justice finally happens. And that is terrifying, because resentment gives you a role: victim, witness, moral judge. Forgiveness removes the role, and now you are left with silence. Many people would rather carry pain than face that silence. That's why forgiveness feels dangerous. It threatens identity. Close your eyes. Picture the person who hurt you. Now separate two things: what they did and what it did to you. You are releasing the pain, not rewriting their character. You are not saying they were right. You are saying your nervous system deserves peace. Write a letter. Say everything you never said. No politeness, no censoring. Then stop and write one final sentence. I release this from my body. Do not send the letter. The nervous system needs expression, not response. Carl Jung warned about something subtle. Sometimes we don't forgive because being hurt makes us feel morally superior. I would never do that. I am better than them. Resentment strengthens the ego. Forgiveness humbles it. It reminds us that under different circumstances, we too could fail. We too could hurt someone. That realization is uncomfortable. So resentment protects the ego. Forgiveness dissolves it. If you never forgive, the event ends, but the pattern doesn't. Resentment becomes posture. It becomes how you look at strangers. It leaks into new relationships. The person who hurt you is no longer present, but the emotional template remains. And now, innocent people pay for old wounds. Unforgiven pain repeats itself. Forgiveness interrupts transmission. Now, let me teach you one more thing. Place one hand on your chest. Breathe slowly and say quietly, "This is over now. My body can rest." Repeat until the tension softens. The body understands language when it is paired with breath. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation, it means resolution. You don't forgive because they deserve peace. You forgive because you do. Some people will never apologize. They will never understand what they did to you. But you don't need their awareness to be free. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the moment your body stops carrying what was never meant to live there. There was a simple experiment conducted by psychologist Everett Worthington. Participants were asked to sit quietly and think about someone who had deeply hurt them. Not casually, not briefly, but vividly. They were told to remember the event, the words, the betrayal, the injustice. As they did this, researchers measured their heart rate, their blood pressure, and their muscle tension. Within minutes, their bodies reacted as if the event was happening again. Heart rate increased, blood pressure rose, muscles tightened. The body did not know that the memory was old. It only knew that the threat felt present. Then something changed. The same participants were guided to imagine forgiveness. Not approval, not reconciliation, but a conscious decision to release the resentment from their body. And as they shifted from anger to forgiveness, their heart rate slowed, blood pressure dropped, muscle tension softened. In real time. Nothing changed in the outside world. The person who hurt them did not apologize, did not change, did not even know this was happening. But the body changed. The nervous system recognized safety. The threat signal turned off. Forgiveness was not a moral act. It was a physiological one. The study revealed something simple and almost unsettling. When you replay resentment, your body relives the harm. When you choose forgiveness, your body begins to recover. Not because the past disappeared, but because the nervous system finally receives permission to stand down. There is a powerful metaphor used in psychosomatic medicine. Unprocessed resentment is like undigested food. When you eat something your body cannot process, it doesn't disappear. It ferments, it irritates, it creates inflammation. Emotions work the same way. If you do not process anger, grief, or betrayal, they do not vanish. They circulate. The nervous system stays activated. The body remains braced, and over time, chronic stress wears down the weakest system. For some, it is the stomach. For others, the back. For others, the immune system. Not because emotions directly create disease, but because long-term stress exhausts regulation. There was a woman in her early 40s who developed chronic digestive pain after a painful divorce. Every medical test came back normal. No infection, no structural damage, but her body remained tense. Her physician eventually referred her to a trauma-informed therapist. In therapy, it became clear she had never processed the betrayal. She stayed strong, she stayed functional, she stayed silent, but her body did not. Through months of emotional processing, not magical thinking, not denial, her symptoms gradually decreased. What changed? Not the past, but her nervous system. Her body no longer needed to carry what her mind had finally metabolized. When forgiveness truly happens, it is quiet. There is no dramatic moment, no fireworks, just neutrality. You can think about the event without your chest tightening. You can say their name without your pulse rising. The memory remains, but the charge dissolves. That is freedom. Not erasing the past, but removing its control over your present nervous system. One day you will realize that the apology you waited for was never the key. Peace was. And peace was always available the moment you stopped carrying what no longer belongs to you. If you found this reflection valuable, make sure to let us know by subscribing, commenting, or simply dropping a like. Wishing you peace until the next video.